Rabbit Hole Roundup, episode 64, Face of the NBA.
Why do you want to be the face of a league?
So guys, in this week's edition of the Rabbit Hole Roundup, I might be dabbling a bit all over the place, but those also happen to be some of my favorite episodes. So of course, as evidenced in the title, I do have some thoughts on the whole Face of the NBA talk, as well as reasons why I actually think the NBA is doing way better than we're giving it credit for. And Channing Frye actually makes a really good point when he says how nostalgia is killing the NBA. And maybe even LeBron is making a good point when it comes to how he's been unfairly criticized, at least from an on-court perspective. I also want to talk about how sports and sports talk are actually very healing for me.
What's the difference between criticism and coaching?
Charles, you're out of shape and you need to get better. That's coaching. But if I'm just looking at you and go, well, that's an ugly suit and you're a fat butt.
And this is where intentions matter. Because what might be a distraction or idol worship for someone can be great and healing and good fun entertainment for someone else. And I've actually noticed how every time I step away from sports, I actually don't think it has made me better, as other people or truth seekers who operate in this whole black or white way of thinking might tell you.
You just don't get it, do you, young blood? This game, the love I got for it.
I also have an interesting thought about God and free will that actually ties into a whole video game analogy that I came up with a few days ago. That's definitely going to get you guys thinking. And to finish things off, I also have some really great self-help clips that are going to close things off very nicely and in very positive, uplifting fashion. So without further ado, let's dive deeper now. Rabbit hole time, let's go.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys know that must mean not subscribe to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through by Jared Weiss. All links purchased on my website, which is jaredbryanweiss.com. That's JAREDRYANWEISS.com. Buy the book, support me, as always, and the support is very much appreciated. So I want to start things off by sharing a very interesting thought I had a few days ago. It somehow just popped into my head.
I know a lot about head injuries.
And this is something where if it resonates with you, take it, or if not, leave it. But one of my beliefs on God and how the world works and the concept of free will is that God is always going to provide us with the opportunities to become our highest selves and to follow our passions. But I believe that it's ultimately up to us to use our own free will that God gave each of us however we see fit to take advantage of these opportunities. And I feel like some people out there, and once again this is just my belief, some people might go too far with saying it's only God, while others I think might go too far in saying it's all on us.
That's me, baby. That's me. I did that.
But I believe we're actually co-creators of our reality alongside God. And each of us even has a piece of God within us. And each of us has our own divine spark. And furthering this analogy to a video game analogy, I view the universe as if God puts all these upgrades around us, almost like ammo or health, and let's just say like Fortnite. And some of us may have a harder time getting to these upgrades or reaching that next level. And some people may start at level 100, while others essentially start at 0. But then it's like, are you willing to seek out the upgrades without losing too much health?
Took your advice. I leveled up.
Will you take advantage of the environment surrounding you and choose to make that better, build better for yourself and others? And so I believe very strongly in our own free will and our own power to make these decisions as opposed to just simple determinism, because I believe we do have a say in what happens in our lives.
Let's not have a good day. Let's have a great day.
And by having all these floating things around us, whether it is like ammo or health, is actually showing us our potential, but we actually have to be the ones to take it.
Excuse me. Do you see this?
And if we do take advantage of these opportunities and do actually build upon making ourselves better surroundings and a better environment, we're going to be able to learn all the lessons that God wants to, and then we're going to receive the blessings and we're going to keep leveling up. And I also see God in everything. I'm not sure exactly how to conceptualize him, nor do I believe him to be like a white man in the sky. And once again, I think each of us has our own divine spark as well. Anyways, that was just an interesting thought I had. It might be too spiritual for some, or not spiritual enough for others, but I just thought I'd share. Next up, I definitely want to include some NBA talk, because I've been seeing how a lot of people have actually been liking my viewpoints, and I love talking about basketball, whether as a player or a fan. So I'm going to keep doing my best to include some of this talk wherever I see fit. And of course, as some of you may or may not know by now, I do like to use this channel as a weekly roundup. So whether it's a motivational video I saw, an interesting theory or conspiracy, politics, sports, etc., while of course keeping the focus on positivity and helping people to reach their full potential, or even sometimes just a fun conversation starter. I try my best to keep this channel very well rounded, with current events or semi-current events, but I've really been liking the feedback I've been getting on some of the sports topics, as these tend to generate fun conversations, so I plan to do my best to keep those in when I find them to be most relevant. I can't guarantee that every week I'll be putting them in, but generally speaking, I do plan to keep them in as a staple. Which leads me into how I believe that sports talk could actually be very healing.
I could hear the ball bounce, and nothing existed outside of this game. Drew, you're a real baller.
And some of this I actually can't even explain. But it was there was a period of time when I took off from watching sports because I thought to myself, oh, I'm a truther, so I'm not supposed to partake in these breads and circuses. And of course, taking a break from cultural programming can be beneficial as a way of resetting our minds, but then every time I got sick, or if I do get sick this day, which hopefully doesn't happen a lot, but I love listening to sports talk, and I'm not exactly even sure why, but I feel like it could be very healthy in a balanced way, and it's very healing in some way, at least for me. It's almost like my own form of natural medicine, or cultural medicine. So putting this in the broader scheme of things, I like to talk about what I think can help people the most, and for a period of time, it was conspiracies, and of course I still do include these occasionally, but I feel that I'd already set the whole foundation for that in many of my original episodes of the Rabbit Hole Roundup, and if I were to still keep that the sole focus of this channel, and of this show, I would actually be going too negative and finding things that make us feel worse about ourselves and worse about the state of the world and don't make us better, which is why I feel like so much of the conspiracy community has become so inundated with negative topics and negative content.
The dome has put an end to life as we know it. The town is running low on supplies of everything.
And of course, I still do believe it has an important place, and I will be covering things whenever I see fit. However, if I were to keep up with that, I believe I'd be pushing unnecessary fear and anger that I don't actually believe in myself. And as I've spoken about on both my channels, you will never hear me say something I don't genuinely believe in. I want to empower us and make us all believe we could achieve anything. And of course, a lot of my conspiracy talk early on, I hope to achieve this by uncovering all the areas where our power may have been hidden or limited, but from there we want to expand on this and find ways to employ it and to use this power, not just constantly be searching for reasons to be victims or reasons why we're powerless at the hands of these rulers.
I'm afraid you've gone mad with power.
So hence the adjustment, which I've spoken about in many other episodes as well, but I just wanted to make that point. And I think it's very important to have a show that can adapt, because when you get too set in your ways, or only focus on one thing, or only focus on one type of content, I actually think the show starts to lose its appeal. And furthermore, when it comes to watching sports, or listening to music, or watching TV, I can't emphasize enough how much your intentions matter. It's like, metaphorically speaking, the same water that saves me can drown or kill someone else. So someone out there might be totally distracted, living a life below their potential, and surrounding themselves in too much comfort, and using these cultural things to escape from things they're not actually willing to work on themselves and in their own personal lives. And some people out there, as we know, are gonna idolize these celebrities and worship the very ground they walk on.
Mr. Handsome!
But others of us, I believe, can use sports or music because it's actually healing, or we can use it to connect with friends and family, it can help us to relate to people better, or we can even use it to motivate our own goals and our own success, or whatever it may be. But it's I see people will often generate thoughts on whole groups of people, and they'll say things like, this whole group all thinks this whole group all uses this one thing this one way, but most of the time, it's not true. And this whole black or white way of thinking, where either you're this or you're that, I believe that actually hinders us from finding common ground and from being able to unite in a healthy way. Now next, I want to share a very powerful Channing Frye clip that's actually been going around on social media over the past few weeks, which talks about, is nostalgia killing the NBA? Or at the very least, our perception of it. Let's watch together.
Nostalgia is killing the NBA. The 90s basketball, Michael Jordan and Kobe, was not as clean as y'all think it was. Y'all forget that Jordan left the league for 2 years. Y'all forget that Kobe, rest in peace, quit on his team in the playoffs and did not shoot the basketball. So all this Kobe, Jordan, oh, he's not this, he's not that. That is propaganda. Every great player, whether that's Ant, Wemby, Bron, Steph, this, that, they compare him to a motherfucker 40 years ago. The rules weren't even the same. You're not really watching help side defense. Who's doing this? What is this rule? What is that rule? You're not watching. Nobody celebrates these new people. So why the fuck would anybody want to be the face of this league where you're going to get shitted on every network for not being somebody from 40 fucking years ago? It's ridiculous. It is unfair. Bron is one of the greatest players ever to play. Stephen Curry is one of the greatest players ever to play. Giannis is one of the great. Jokic. And you know what we do? We talk about fucking Michael Jordan. All this superstar era shit is over. The card cap called a second apron, it's over. Teams are going to take over.
So to add on to this point, as Gilbert Arenas and even Jason Whitlock have been talking about, LeBron James has actually been over-criticized from a very young age. And in a lot of ways, I have to agree that this criticism has actually been largely unfair.
Krusty Krab unfair.
And the same goes for the NBA in general. I think this is actually one of the only things where all the players are getting massively better, more athletic, better shooters, better ball handlers, bigger, stronger, faster, but yet we're always finding ways to compare it to past eras and say how much worse it's gotten. And of course, are there some fair criticisms? Yes. And yes, I also do know that the whole political shift that happened did mess things up a little bit, but referring to the on-court product, I think it's only gotten better. Be it so many people out there don't focus on all the things like the NBA got right, or all these great things like the stars have going for it.
We grew up in an era where they only highlighted your excellence. He is playing in an era where it's all personal hate.
And if we're going to talk about LeBron, the face of the league, and LeBron's problems or flaws, they've been off the court as far as I see them. Not on it. And I even know like a lot of people would say how he's never been arrested or hasn't had any drug issues. But of course, me being the truth seeker I am, I just have to mention the whole boule tattoo, secret society, the support of politicians when like he really doesn't have any knowledge of politics, and of course the whole potential involvement with Diddy. But putting all that aside and separating the art from the artist, I don't think any other top player ever was ever criticized in this way for basically his whole career. And did he bring some of this on himself with the whole chosen one tattoo or calling himself King James? Of course, I'm not excusing that. And this is sometimes speaking things like he has no business talking about. Yes, and once again, I do question some of the off-court activities. I'm not sure about any of that. But also, growing up without a father figure, being promised all these things, being on the cover of Sports Illustrated, being called the chosen one, and being considered the heir to Jordan, that's a level of fame from a young age that I'm sure most of us couldn't even imagine. So while other truthers love to view the world, or love to see people as either good or evil, I try to find the nuance. And also, as Jason Whitlock mentioned this past week, Skip Bayless actually basically elevated his whole career by trashing a 21-year-old LeBron, who by all accounts at that point had done everything the right way and was actually living up to his expectations and to the hype. So if we're going to be talking about just the on-court play, it's like I just want to put this out there. One of the most impressive things like I've ever seen in the NBA was LeBron leading the 07 Cavs to the finals. I mean, look at who else was on that team. Also going to 9 straight finals, all-time leader in points as a non-scorer, one of the all-time assist leaders, averaging 20, 10, and 8 in the finals. And look, I love Kobe and his mindset, and he's one of my favorite players, but if we're throwing out all the off-court stuff for both guys, you can't honestly tell me that Kobe was better than LeBron. All these guys had help because it's a team game, but like LeBron's dominance for 20 plus years is unmatched, and I don't want to sound like a total fanboy, but I'm just stating what I'm watching and what I've watched. And Gilbert Arenas gave a really great analogy in the show the other day, with how all these people are like, oh, number 1, Michael Jordan, great, amazing. Number 2, LeBron, if you are someone who puts him behind Jordan, did this, and that, and I hate him. But then it's like, oh, 3, Kobe, amazing. Larry Bird, Will Chamberlain, etc., etc. Now, as Jason was saying the other day, and of course, once again, rest in peace, Kobe, huge fan of his mindset and his play, but his legacy has definitely been elevated way beyond what it was before he died, and sometimes we just have to trust our own eyes. While all the numbers I think indubitably favor LeBron, so that argument in my opinion is no question, but also which guy has dominated the NBA for basically every facet of the game for the past 20 plus years. And once again, I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but as someone who loves the game of basketball, I do have to acknowledge LeBron's greatness. So let me know your thoughts on the whole face of the NBA stuff. Does LeBron make a good point?
Why do you want to be the face of a league when all the people that that cover our game and talk about our game on a day-to-day basis on everybody? I mean, that responsibility, it's just weird. It's weird energy.
What are your thoughts on Channing Frye's statements, Jason Whitlock, or Gilbert Arenas for anyone who watches those shows? Let me know your thoughts below. And now to finish off this week's episode, I have 2 powerful clips that are more self-help based and happiness related. So let's start with this one.
One thing I've made peace with as I've gotten older is I don't have to. I don't have to be the bigger person. I don't have to stay in something I don't want to. I don't have to put up with disrespect that you seemingly think you can give me. I just don't have to.
So this advice actually goes for friendships or relationships, or even just human interaction. And this is something like I've gotten better at as I've gotten older, but yet like I can still always improve on because I am somewhat of a people pleaser. And since I try to always be the nicest guy,
You're the best. He's the best, right?
I try to forgive people and try to see the good in everyone. and sometimes this leads to me getting hurt, but this clip is actually a great reminder that especially once you're out of school and you're done with that whole system, you don't have to be around people that don't uplift you. And you don't have to listen to content like that you don't like. You have to curate your whole life, your inner circle, your news feed, and make sure like that all those things are working for you and not against you. And to finish off this week's episode, I do have a very powerful clip talking about how to make life a game of thinking like every day is going to be the best day ever.
I just saw a video of a girl talking about how she plays this game every day, and the game is called Best Day Ever. The whole point of it is that every day she says it's going to be the best day ever, but she has no idea why. So throughout the day, every single day, she finds herself looking for things for why that day is going to be the best day ever, because the whole point is you find what you seek. So point being, if you wake up every day and say this is going to be the best day ever and spend your day looking for things on why it's going to be the best day ever, you're going to find a lot more beautiful things. You're going to find a lot more things throughout the day that make your day seem awesome. So try doing that. For the rest of the day today, tomorrow, whatever it is, try telling yourself it's going to be the best day ever. See how it goes.
So now, imagine if we could all set our intentions like this going into every day. And this doesn't mean like every day is going to be perfect, but if we can approach every day thinking like this day has a chance to be the best day ever, what do you think we're going to start looking for and attracting? You're telling your mind exactly what you want. So you're going to be finding reasons to make that true, as opposed to people who are always searching for reasons to be upset with the world and finding things that are wrong with the world and with their own lives. Anyways, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, drop a like. I will catch you guys next time. Stay hustling, stay positive, stay grinding. Let me know your thoughts on the topics in this episode. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.